Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee Review. It is a lovely day before Valentine's Day, 2024. Holy cow, the time has flown. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing good, Mr. Jason Hartley. Yeah, I mean, the time has flown. Have you thought about next month will be our third year anniversary? I was thinking about that on the drive home yesterday. That's pretty wild. What a wild ride we've had. But yeah, I'm excited for today. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about admins. I know some of you folks that are longtime listeners are looking for something more advanced, and we have something definitely in the works for that. But today, we're talking all about admins and what an admin would use Revu for. This is just a great way to spread more of the volume of what Revu has to offer. That's around those folks that may not be using it in a capacity that we're all used to using it in. So we're going to show some of that, and maybe you do some admin work as well, like creating forms and those types of items as well. But we'll go through and talk about that today. But today is great. It is a nice sunny day. We are starting to finally warm back up here in the Grand Canyon State. Jason's laughing. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they actually had compassion for us being cold because it was around 50. I think 9 was the high yesterday, which is really cold here.
We're barely touching above freezing over here in Minnesota, but that's fine. But you know, talking about the admin workflow, and we use that term very generically, right? There's a lot of men and women who run our firms that might not have a stamp or be working on actual projects, but they're absolutely vital to our workflows, right? And this sort of builds upon what we talked about last week with the actual IT administration of the Revu and the Bluebeam ecosphere, right? Um, but what we're seeing is some firms still have Adobe or PDF Exchange or some other solution for certain people while everybody else gets Bluebeam Review. And they're spending money on things that they don't really need to. Their life would be easier on the IT side if, hey, just give everybody Bluebeam Review and we can figure out if it's going to be basic, core, complete, and then what can they still do with it, right? So that's what we're going to dive in today, the less technical part of the admin workflow. That makes sense. So we got a few things to talk about. If you have any ideas or things that you want us to cover, certainly put them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to go through and, scat jazz our way through it like we always do.
Yeah, and I would say if you have any topics that you'd like covered, email us. I'll just put my email in here because I am generating the new list for the couple of months. So if you'd like to see that, if you'd like to be on, I know, Doug, you had some items. I didn't know if you wanted to be on for that one or not. Just let us know. But yeah, we're excited. Can I give an opinion?
Yeah. So about that. So our executive leadership here at ATG just joined a bunch of folks down in Florida for Bluebeam's executive forum, where a lot of the channel partners went down there, and they were tipped off onto some things that are coming up and some of those challenges. And I haven't heard the full report yet, but I guarantee sign and send is something that needs to be addressed, right? Because if you watched that sports ball game on Sunday, there was a couple commercials, right? For was it DocuSign or Adobe? One of the two had that sign and send, and they just showed it in a freaking Super Bowl commercial. So,
wait, I never saw that. There was that in the Super Bowl commercial.
Yeah, there was a Adobe commercial,
I must have been,
and it showed that and how easy it was, and the dude was on his couch, but same thing. That sign and send is something that would be very, very handy because that's gonna again elevate Bluebeam. I mean, it's already up here in our AEC world, but in the everyday world, that's something that we needed. Maybe Jared could blink twice if that's something that he knows the team's working on. But otherwise, we got some things.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that. There's definitely, you can at least sign, you can do certificates. We did that whole MCR about it, but there isn't a workflow around that similarity of DocuSign mentality of like click jumps you to somewhere. I think there just needs to be a panel where you can set that all up. That would be great, or some type of secondary add-in. I don't know. Some type of feature, because that's important to folks. And that's why some folks still use other solutions out there in comparative to this, primarily for that DocuSign kind of example, I guess you would say, right? Like that jump to. I mean, you can create flags and stuff like that and jump to things, but that's a lot of work, I personally would say, to set up than having like that DocuSign scenario. But I've never set up a DocuSign, so I don't know how long it takes to set one up.
Yeah, I haven't either. I know we use PandaDoc internally or not even internally, for a lot of different things, which is pretty handy with that jump to sign thing. But
yeah, and that already has everything formulated in terms of a
Yeah.
signature field and everything like that. But there's information you still have to fill out. So
Yep. All right. Well, let's fire up some software and talk about things, right?
yes.
You have something in mind?
Yeah. So today what we'll talk about, first and foremost, is I literally opened it, is the ability to create forms. We've talked about signatures and signing certificates, so I don't think we need to necessarily open that can of worms again. But again, it's completely up to you all if that's something that you wanted to do. We can go through and do that as well. But basically, what we're able to go through and do is we're able to go through and here. Actually, let me bring this over here. Give me 1 second. I just have some stuff I need to clear out.
Being sneaky there.
Yeah, I was just working on a bunch of stuff that I should probably not have shown. So
Yeah, that's the beauty of that file access panel, and maybe we can talk about that too. So I had to clean mine up the other day.
yeah, I'm just checking. Okay, everything's clear. So basically, yeah, so your file access, you do have the option to go through and remove things. So you can right click and remove, because it just shows the history of things that you were working on. So I'll remember to do that before next time. But as we go through, what we're able to do is create forms. So typically what I do for this is I use the out-of-the-box RFI that doesn't have any form options for this. And this is just this example that I go through and show. The one thing I don't like, however, is that the signature box isn't, and I guess maybe just how they created this form, like it doesn't need to be this long because we're thinking about probably handwriting things. But again, okay, so I take that back because some people do have a well-written signature. Maybe I'm just the one because my signature is just a scribble. But what you're able, and I found out Artley's is just a scribble. But what we do have the option to go through and do is you can go through to tools and you have forms. And from here, you do have the option to create forms. Now, this can be an automatic creation of forms, which is a great tool, or the other options would be like creating a text box or radio button. And I was actually using this yesterday because I was trying to formulate a custom stamp. And by the way, custom stamps have a lot of additional items if you can't use what's existing from out of the box. So just so you're all aware that are going through and creating custom stamps, try to use as much as you can from out of the box versus meaning from the custom ones. So if I go here, try to use what's already existing, because when you're going through and trying to recreate the UI for them, it's just a lengthy process. So from here to here, right? If there's something in here that you think is sufficient, but you want to recreate everything, you can. Like if you needed 6 areas of information here, then that's what you would use because these are all text, and then you could recreate however you want it to look. But anyways, when you're going into here, what you're able to go through and do is you can go to forms, and then you can automatically create form fields is one way. And we'll do some manual ones as well. So this will automatically go through and create forms. This will automatically open up the forms panel as well. The forms panel allows you to go through and edit existing ones. If the forms panel is not open and you're outside of it, you're actually able to enter data into the form itself. So again, you can hit escape. Now I am no longer using the forms panel. When you select back into here, you are back into editing these forms. fields that have been entered, right? You can always go through and delete one. You can rename them if you want. The great thing about naming them and having that actual legible information here would be if you're going to go through and export out that data. So if you wanted to export the data, we've done importing and exporting before on our other one. I think we did a topic just on forms, or maybe it was also one of the admin ones a couple years ago. I don't recall, but be aware that you can go through and export your data out or import your data as well.
Right,
No.
and that's where a lot of folks, especially like Doug, that's the best part of forms is being able to export that data and do something else with it. So we did cover that when we did do a form specific, and I think it was more on that Power BI, like the deep mud underneath review when it comes to what you can do with external data. But we'll keep rolling with this old thing.
Yeah. So again, that is the ability to go through and create forms. Now, if there was some that weren't created, and we'll just go through and delete a couple of these, you do have the option to manually create them. So what you have is a text box. So you can go through and place that text box here. And then you also have the option of creating a radial button. This is what you would use for creating digital dashboards, which I've done before as well. So there is a radial button here as well that you can go through and create. And again, you have that option of selecting that one, and you can change the properties of these too. So if you wanted to go through and just change the properties, you can just select properties of this, and you have the option of appearance, right? So if you wanted to go through and change the appearance of it, you have additional actions as well, mouse up, mouse down. What's the added action? So there can be an action to it, but we're not adding an action to this one. That's how you do a lot of the JavaScripting as well too for other items like stamps. But we'll go back to the forms. So the other option would be a checkbox. So if you wanted to go through and create a checkbox, you can as well. There is the list option box, and we'll show that as well here. I don't know why I made it so. I should have just done. Anyways, we'll go through here. So for the list option, you get to go through in here and add some options for this. So you do have the option of the list that you want to add, what item you want to add. Selection maybe. So you do have the option to go through and create that. Our next one is going to be a drop down. So this is like your drop down selection that you have. And again, I'm just selecting what's there from forms, and then that gives you the option here of the properties.
Look at that. It's been a long time since I played with this function.
Yeah. Check spelling. I love that it's there. Oh, there's allow user to add a custom text. I didn't know that on this one. Anyway, so they can go through and say approved. I probably should have made that. So as you can see, it's not full with that text size. So you can come back to forms here in the drop down, and let me lower that a little bit. So then they have that option of approved or not approved. Then you also have a button. Now I use the buttons in digital dashboards. So like it's supposed to be like a click option, right? Like you click and there's an action to it. So basically you have your action that you get to go through and do this. So like when the people click it, it goes somewhere, right? So if I go to new page, insert blank page, and then we'll just
I'm going to take a note. Digital dashboards, future topic. We haven't talked about that in a while.
It's been a long while. Yeah, good call. I was just looking for a tool set. That's what I was looking for, so I can jump to it. There we go. Cool.
Kitchen furniture. Ooh, look at that little
It's
plant.
at scale.
Oh, it's a good one though.
Yeah, but like you don't enjoy it. So who puts something? Okay, people can maybe, but like, come on, you're probably like 2 inches off the ground.
I just want to get in there
Am I
with
right?
dynamic fill and play color by numbers, type of thing.
So yeah. Oh, that's what I was doing. So this would be like a button that comes to that page or that area, right? So like it draws you to that area. So basically you could do like from here, you can go to properties, and then that's add action, and then it goes to a place somewhere, and you're going to create the place. Just do example here, get rectangle, and then I'll go to my secondary page, and we're going to go to right here where this plant is for no reason. So now when I go back and click my button, oops, I need to flatten it too. It'll bring you to that area. Did it not add my action?
Weird.
Did I hit escape? Nope, there we go. There you are. So, hey, this needs you to go. I guess you could use this as like a DocuSign environment. Click here. And there you are,
Look at
sign.
that.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be one way to do it.
I just don't know how long it takes people to set it up. Like,
Does anybody know? Anybody who's used DocuSign? How long does it take to actually set up an average file? I think most people have encountered one. What sort of effort goes into that?
I want to see what other properties we can do with this. Options, label only, label icon, layout, but like, what did that change? Icon top, label button. Oh, that's cool. Outline. So you can change the way it looks. Invert. Stay up. Oh, you can change the label. It doesn't need to say that. Oh, so you can select a different icon. That's cool. When to scale always proportionally. Cool. All right. And that's, by the way, if you are looking, this comes back to stamps, because I was doing some stamp stuff yesterday. Is whenever you're looking at an option in a stamp, just be aware that most of them, these options are in the form, and then their property of the JavaScript is also in here, depending on what they are. So just being aware of the information that's associated to these when you have that, like this one right here. In here is that embedded one, and this is, it says it's a calculation. It says it's not supposed to be edited, but that's where a lot of the information lives. Yeah. Okay.
Now keep in mind the form stuff that Michael's working on is all currently available in Bluebeam Basic. So review
Yes.
Basic, the lower version. The JavaScript part, that's still incomplete. Incomplete, not incomplete. So depending on where you're going to go, you're certainly going to be limited there. But
Yeah,
the
I was
form
just going on
stuff
a
used to
side
be,
tangent.
yeah, the form stuff used to be locked to the highest tier.
Yep. Now it's included in the basic tier, so you get all this form stuff that I just showed, with the automatic form creation as well. So if you didn't want to take your time to set things up, right, you have that option as well. I guess you can't uncheck this because it's a radial button, probably. Okay. So next, what we'll go through and do is we'll go through and I guess another one would be probably exporting out to Word or editing or searching and highlighting. Searching and highlighting is a great one because I just talked to someone about this the other day. Because search and highlighting was a topic of question with changing colors. And I have never had the ability to change colors of highlighting with search. You can, of course, change colors of your highlight, but in terms of applying a highlight through search.
Oh, I don't think I've ever tried that.
Yeah. You can if you change your default. So let me go to here. So in Review, if you have a vector-based PDF, which is true enriched data versus a raster, which is seen as an image, you can't really search text. You can run OCR, which every version of Review 21 now comes with OCR as well. So that's a little bit different. You do have the option to go through and say, hey, let me search for text concrete here. And then you have the ability to add things to what you've selected here. So you can select all, which is what I typically do when I'm showing like an example, right? So I have all my check boxes, and now I can go through and say everywhere these ones are placed, or you can be very selective on what you want to have that information as. We can go to here to the Thunderbolt and do highlight. However, and maybe someone else has, this is where I'm asking kind of like a group huddle. I personally have never had the ability to change the color here.
It's just going to force the yellow.
Yeah, it's just like yellow. I don't know if anyone has ever been able to. Like there's no right click, there's no hold and click.
Do those highlights show up in the markups list where you can select them all and then go to properties?
Yeah, but you can't select all. I mean, what you would want to do is do this, select all, versus selecting from the markups list, right? And then go to properties.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Because I think from here, correct me if I'm wrong.
Filter by color.
So if I went here, I guess you still have that properties option. I was thinking click here because you can't do that. You could do this though. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit of a workaround, but
so I guess you could just sort by color. Can I just select all 60, 300? No, I can't. Cool. So I have to scroll down. But there's no way to place a specific color. However, I will say you can do this, which I never like doing in Review, but you by all means can. You can select this one, change it to magenta, right click, and you can set as default. Now,
there's your trick.
Yeah.
Search for item.
Yeah.
3? Wow.
So now when you highlight, they're the magenta color.
That's a pretty decent workaround, though, because you can always set that back to yellow. I mean,
yeah,
that one's not as hard when it comes to undoing a default. Ooh, there's a question. Have you ever changed the thickness of the highlighter? I can't say that I have. I just default that one.
I've never done it.
I mean, this is definitely on topic with an admin workflow, right? Because this is what they'd be doing.
I like that way better because it's like, no,
right.
a little bit more, a little bit more.
Is it doing it? It looks the same size to me, though.
It's going up a little bit. See, like it's a little bit under the G.
I do love the little highlight where it turns red in between the pink because it That's what a real highlighter would do.
Yeah.
When you get that overlap, get to
That
that darker
overlap,
spot.
that double.
Yeah, that's a attention to detail. So kudos, Bluebeam programmer, whoever did that many years ago.
So we'll do next one. See how many is there. Okay. So the other options with this would be like adding a hyperlink. So this would be great if you're having a specifications document and it needs to go somewhere to like refer to an RFI or a location or something like that. You can easily do this by saying add a hyperlink. And if the RFI is there, part of the PDF, you can say go to page X, Y, and Z, or get a rectangle, or go to a manufacturing website wherever you see this. Be aware that you can do this very quickly if you wanted to go through and create like an RFI list, which I've done for folks before. That's something that we were positioned to do for some folks where we had to recreate the RFIs after construction to document everything. So this was a very time saving area to attach as RFIs to specific items. You can mark redaction, which we've done before, and then apply a count. So for those folks that wanted to, this goes not just for searching for text, but on your PDF set, right? So if you wanted to, you can go through and search for something and get that itemized count. We've done this plenty of times, but I'll go through and do this again here. So if you were maybe here and you're like, hey, wherever there is, I don't know, I'll use this. Yeah. Okay. So wherever this is, you can use a visual search and say, get a rectangle, search for this on current documents. I probably should have played with that.
Yeah, that sensitivity setting can be tricky sometimes. I had it fight me a little bit 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I don't think there are any place in this as a steel building, so something better. No, we'll go here.
There you go.
But it's probably not going to do like a.
Oh. Okay. I only found one. Interesting.
Yeah. So again, playing with this option of the search
CJ
control joint. Yeah. But I wonder, I guess the line didn't even show up. That's weird.
Yeah. Why is that? I was just thinking that normally that would always show that little line selection that you grabbed.
Okay, so from here, you do have the option to go through and 71 were found, and then you can apply like a count, right?
Wild. But see, with that sensitivity slider being up, it found that OJ because it's close to the C, right? So that one is technically
it's
one
like
you would,
DJ CJ.
Yeah, you would disconnect, deselect, disconnect. Duh.
But yes, so that's something cool, right? Like the count.
Absolutely.
The other one would be like find and replace. Can you think of any other terminology in here from this concrete spec doc? I can. Okay, let's do
done. DONE. I see that word a few times.
So what you'll do is you'll see done. And you can do like case sensitive and all that other stuff, but you can also do find and replace. So if you wanted to select all, I'll just give you this caveat. Bluebeam Review, just like the other products that are in the same solution vein, have a hard time with returns reformatting. So typically, which I'll show you next, you can export out to its main producer if it was produced in it. Because some folks use, like I used to use Google because I didn't want to pay for Microsoft, but now I do, right? You would use the Google, what they call it, Word. What do they call it in there?
Google Docs?
Docs, yeah, which is essentially a Word document, but they don't format correctly whenever you export it out to Microsoft Word. But anyways, okay. So we'll go and say done.
With completed.
Complete. select it. And you can skip or use a different text if you wanted to. We'll just go through and apply. So, I mean, the highlight didn't move with it, right? Because it was a markup place that instance. But anyways, it replaced the done with now completed. So from here, you do have the option to do a file export. And I just did this with someone here internally at ATG. By the way, Josh needed to export content out. He's our MEP director, out to Word. And he asked me, hey, is there a way to get copy my text from a PDF into Word? And I said, you bet. Don't copy per letter or like syntax, just export the entire document, because I knew it was created in Word originally. And when it is, you get that, and I've already done this before, but I'm going to overwrite this one. If it's originally created in Microsoft Word, you get the correct formatting. So even with the colorization, the format still stays the same too, just because, again, the document was originally created in Word. It wasn't created in Google Docs, which is Google Docs' version of Word. Because even if you went from like that, and I've done it, to Microsoft Word, the formatting doesn't stay the same. So
funny how that works.
Yeah, it comes down to the software solution.
And Doug put in the chat, remember, whatever you've highlighted appears in the markups list if you have that set as a preference. So Michael showed that earlier. That whole list of highlights was just making a mess of the markups list.
Yeah. So wait, you can not have it shown there? Is that a preference? This is new to me.
See.
Copy highlighted text into markup comments.
Yep. So the text will show up in the column. The text will show up in the comments column.
But you still get the highlight.
Yeah, turn on your comments column. Do you have that turned on?
Yeah, so if I don't check this, though, does it not make a markup in the markups list? Or it still does?
The markup stays.
Okay.
He says.
He's just saying the comment. Okay. Yeah, so in the comments here, whatever it highlighted, it's part of the markups here. I guess what you could do, yeah, if you didn't want to see this, because trust me, I've seen this and it gets annoying. I don't want to see 365. What you could do is you could put this all on a layer.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Can you collapse it? And
now, if I turn the layer off, does it not show up in the markups list? No, just not on the PDF.
Filter and take it out. Interesting. We're just playing around today. It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's a bummer. Like, I don't want to see 300 highlights.
What happens if you collapse the title up top where it says 365?
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
But you still can't select them all by grabbing that. You can't right click on that 365, right?
Yeah, but then my callout's not there. I guess if you do by subject, and then you say no highlights, I guess, yeah. But what if you're not sorting by subject? Yeah. All right. I digress.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't tend to stay rolled up. Yeah. Okay. So that is the ability to search things that you would want to do in here. And I guess we could talk about that flag feature. So, like, what are flags? Because you can add a flag to a page as well. So if you wanted to, you can add a flag and where that location is. And this just helps you, like, it's the old flag method.
Right? I think I probably have some in my desk drawer here.
I have some on my
Look, I do.
Yeah, when I was going through and doing my study for implementing trainings, I went through the training manual and I had flags all over. But yeah, so you can go through and just use your flags to jump to places. So this could be a way of using Review as DocuSign kind of mentality that we were talking about earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so being aware there are options. You can change the name of it, you can change the color, what type of text you want to use, bold or non-bold. So you have that option to flag things out. They just open the flag panel and they can start clicking through to places, and that allows them to maybe jump to a signature location. But again, like the one thing that is, and we talked about that earlier, like DocuSign is it's web based
Mm-hmm.
and it's easy. I think it comes down to convenience, and it hit the market where convenience was needed, right? I don't know. I only used DocuSign when I was purchasing our home. Like that was the one time. When was the last time you used DocuSign?
I don't know. It could have been that when I refinanced. But I had a paper form show up in the mail yesterday, and I was like,
Really?
what? Like, I was writing out this, and I'm like, this is insane. I feel like I'm in a time machine because this could have been an email, and it could have been a form, and it was wild.
Yeah. Yeah,
Flashback.
Doug. I mean, we use PandaDocs for our contracts. So, like, I've just never been on the receival end of signing it. I'm on the creation end of it. So I'll create them, um, which is a legal document, right? So I guess you'd be the one receiving that, but that is a form of digital signature field.
Yep.
I wish there was just an integration. Like, hey, use this tab, bumps it into an AWS server that Bluebeam owns, and then now there's a web-based app for it.
Should
Does
we
that make
make a
sense?
suggestion?
We need the labs, right?
Yeah. Bluebeam Labs. Did everybody sign up for
Yeah.
that?
I haven't
I
signed
did,
up
but I
yet.
haven't heard anything yet. So I'm curious to see when that gets started.
Like this, boom, but it doesn't go to my email, which is a great admin use case here as well. But it goes to some web link that you can email to somebody and then they can go in and sign. Just a thought.
Right.
But yes, so you can use the email button here, and this will attach and automatically do a subject of what the PDF is named. So you don't have to worry about not attaching your content. You can also do this if you're used to sending RFIs to people, which I used to have an email template that was that way. But when I got my new computer, they're all gone. Yeah, I think Arley's working on the link. So you can have an email template, which is whatever you want to name this. I think is the one I made last time. And then this is always going to Jason. Yes, you can all know his email and you can ping him every day. You can automatically have a CC or a BCC, so blind copy. Subject, I just typically leave it blank because it's going to be if you leave it blank here in your template, it's going to be the name of the PDF. So this one is going to be pick up red lines. I don't know why I did caps and non-caps. It's a Tuesday. I almost said it was a Monday, but Monday already happened. So I'll do file, email with template. So now that I have this new one, it's already going to Jason Artley, who's busy apparently. It's on do not disturb. Does ours go automatically to do not disturb?
No, I turned mine on today.
Okay. Do not disturb Mr. Early today. So yes, now it has that subject and it says pick up red lines. And all I have to do is hit send. Super simple. So if you have someone that's on your team that you're regularly emailing red lines to, and you're not using sessions, which is up to you, I would highly recommend it. But if you're not, because what if this was a full set? I get that thing all the time where they're like, hey, Mike, I can't send it because it's over 10 megs. Well, you could probably use sessions and coordinate that way. and have all that awesome reviewal workflow. So, but yeah, then I can send it to him and he can see them from there. So that's that email portion. We talked about forms. Now let's talk about document manipulation, because that's a huge one as well. What can we go through and do from an admin perspective? And again, I'm using admin as a loose term, or at least did it earlier. But you have the option with the thumbnails panel. You have the small triangle to large triangle. You can make this smaller or larger for whatever size you want of PDF page. But when you click on this, you do have the option to do a couple of things with document manipulation here, or what we would call document management. You can always move one PDF anywhere around in the set. So if I just left click, hold, and drag, you'll see these blue colored icons here. And that is allowing you to place it in that specific spot in the origin of what the PDF set is. And I have no idea what I'm talking about in terms of origin. I meant it's just the next part in the page, right? I'm moving page 1 to page between page 10 and 11. So it will become page 11, right? So you have that option to drag and move those around very easily. You can also use the shift button, right, to add a sequence of them, or do control. I want this one, this one, this one, not this one. And I want to extract these pages out as individual pages, right? Those types of things. You also have the option to delete them. We all know sometimes we don't get PDFs that have orientation correctly. So you can also, I'll rotate this one. And I'll rotate this one. You can also use the rotate pages. So if you wanted to right click, you can say rotate pages, and I'm going to do all pages. And I only want to actually, not all pages, landscape pages. I want to go clockwise 90 degrees. And I think it's supposed to be counterclockwise, but we'll go. So there we are. And it just did those two that I rotated. I didn't even have to go through and select them.
Magical.
Would that be considered AI? I'm telling it what to do, but it's automatically, artificially looking for landscape pages. So was AI already here?
I don't know. I mean, that term is getting thrown around like it's the hottest buzzword ever, and I don't think anybody really knows what it really means. So,
I mean, we know what it means from like a robot perspective, artificial intelligence and learning. Like ChatGPT is truly AI. But in our industry, it is definitely a buzzword that is being blended with like generative design when it's really when they say AI, but it's really generative design, right? So So I agree with you. I was saying in terms of like ChatGPT is totally artificial intelligence.
I think
unless
just happened
it's
there
you behind
magic.
The screen.
No, I wish.
You type into me as I'm typing in context, and you're saying,
Yeah, exactly. It's as Dave said, it's a new feature that allows the sales price to go up. Oh, we got AI. I can't tell you how many junk mails I get. Like, hey, how is your company going to deal with AI now? Like the same way we always. Well, I don't know.
So I wasn't, and I mean, I was alive during the .com era. I just wasn't like part of industry during that. Was that what happened when .com came around?
I don't know. I was alive, but I wasn't paying attention.
Was it the same thing that's happening now?
I would say no. I would say it's different.
Okay.
Because
like
the AI thing,
like the internet, or like, I guess, was that the thing that, you're buying into, like AI, and like this is going to change your whole life perspective, which it probably will, but like, is that something?
Same, but different is what I'll say.
Okay. There's a question about anything that is big to send now. I just use, Docs ACC. Yeah, a lot of folks are in ACC. I mean, after AU, I mean, it was like a big push the year prior, but now after this last year, I'm having a lot of calls with clients that are moving into that direction. So there's a lot of
Migration.
use into that solution now. So yeah, you can do transmittals or you can just share it via ACC. But if you're marking up via Bluebeam, you can always send them that way. Okay.
Right.
So we talked about the ability to move documents around, extracting them. You can also go through and cut. The other one would be like, hey, I need to grab a couple PDFs from here. So you can do control, selecting which ones you want. You can copy, and then you can go back over to here. And wherever your blue icon is, you can then go through and paste pages. So you do have the option to go through and copy and paste pages wherever you'd like, from one PDF to the next very quickly like that. I think I've done it where I've dragged and dropped too. I'm not trying to sign into my VPN right now, so hold on. Sorry.
I think I tried this the other day too.
Yeah, I think you could do this. I just don't know if that's like someone's model health we
just do
did,
your
but
batch
whatever.
summary.
We'll just figure it out along the way. Yeah, we do complimentary model health checks. So if you're in Revit and you would like one, please let us know and we can run one for you. But yeah, so you can go through and just drag and drop.
Yep.
Yeah, we could do slip sheeting too. So that's another option as well. So we covered forms. We covered searching text. We didn't cover editing text. But if you did have a spec doc or something like that, you can edit text. But again, I mean, we did like replace. You can go to here and you can say edit text. So PDF content, edit text. Just be aware some things can be changed, right? But when you start getting to the edge, if I hit return,
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's not the best.
Yeah, the edit text function is more for word replacement and change a couple things. But if you need to actually do formatting, that's where just send it over to Word, do it there, and then recreate the PDF.
Yeah, it's for stuff like this. Like we're in here, we need to change this to concessions to something different. Oops.
Now, keep in mind, depending on the font that you use in your original solution. So if you were printing from AutoCAD or MicroStation or Revit or whatever other solution, not every font is going to be supported here. So if you're using a Windows TrueType font, it will edit no problem. If you use something like an AutoCAD based SHX font, it's going to give you an error if you try to edit the text. So something to think about on the CAD side of things, if you're configuring your CAD standards, will that font work with Revu? So TrueType for the win.
Yeah, Ryan, the Bimbox, I mean, that's what I'm on right now. I'm on the laptop though.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, now it's great for me. I'm always like, well, I just get a desktop in here because I don't travel anymore. Now I go to the office and work from home, and it's nice because I just pack it up. So I have the laptop, and I will tell you, the new ones are super light compared to the old ones. If I had to lug the old one around, going back and forth to the office nowadays, it would definitely be a struggle. But
I had that one.
you have the new one too, though.
Yeah. I got the
Yeah.
Slim Pro 16. I think that's what I got.
How
It's
do I know
fancy.
if I have the 16 or the 17?
fast.
I guess I have to measure it. I'm pretty sure I have the 16. I don't think I needed 17 because I'm always hooked up to monitors. I don't know. I will tell you the cooling in it is way better.
Yeah. It's quieter.
It's quiet. It never has the fans on now. Okay, we'll go back. Sorry. So yeah, you have the option of going through and doing that. Oh, bookmarks. Bookmarks is a great thing I think that folks should do as well. So let me go
8 minutes left.
8 minutes left. That's easy. We'll probably have to do a couple of them. So we'll go to this document here. This has thumbnails. So Typically, like if your pages aren't named, which you could do of export or like plotting or printing your PDFs, but some people don't, right? Like this one, I didn't. So it's a great example. I didn't do it. So what are you going to do? So from here, I typically name the pages and then create my bookmarks, or you can do the adverse. You can create bookmarks, then name your pages. This is going to be the same feature that will be in Bluebeam Cloud, but it's automatic or AI. So
Oh
is
boy.
automatic AI? See,
No.
this is what gets me. What is the distinction of AI versus automatic? Because this is my gripe. AI is being introduced into Bluebeam,
Right. In April.
but the cloud part that is AI, air quotes, is just reading the title block and putting the names to the pages, from what I'm aware of. So when you import, this is just from what I'm aware of, and you can all correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm more than happy to admit when I'm wrong. It will then auto name your pages when you upload it. But there's a lot of solutions that do that already.
See, I'm torn because I mean, this is for being a PDF solution, it's a pretty complex software, right? And somebody spent a lot of time designing and programming and making that function work. And just to call it AI discredits their work. How's that?
Ooh, I like that. Okay, because this is what it's doing, right? When you upload it into cloud, it is, instead of going off the name of what you put the document to be, because that's what it has done
Mhm.
now, right? It will now do this for you, which it's going to read this area, which is what I'm doing manually right now. It will automatically do this. And is that machine learning? Because I don't know if it is. Is that what AI truly is? Artificial intelligence, which is learning.
This is more OCR, isn't it?
I
Kind of. Yeah.
that's what it's AutoMark is what they named it.
Oh,
So there we are. So was AI already part of review, or because it just
just
went and
missed
searched
it.
every page for me? Like, are you gonna have to do that same exact thing
Hmm.
where you say this is where you need to look for the data in cloud? I don't know.
So there you go, Ryan. By the sales AI logic, then spell check would be AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm. Uh-oh. Grammarly. Ooh, Grammarly. That one could be AI. I mean, it's reading your stuff and making suggestions for you. It's not somebody proofreading it for you. So it is artificial. It's not
That
always smart though. So I don't know if I'd call it always intelligent.
that's
I mean,
yeah,
it's
that's why, like, yes, ChatGPT is true artificial intelligence because you can have open conversations with it and it will learn from you even in the same chat, right? That is artificial intelligence at its core.
okay.
What bugs
So
me is things that we're mixing into here as new features that are automatically reading information or things of that
mhm,
nature is considered AI.
right.
That's my gripe. That's my gripe.
So it was mentioned that even Office makes suggestions, which brought me back to, was Clippy AI before his time? Remember Clippy?
What did Clippy do?
Clippy was your little assistant in Word, and he was like a little guy that would show up in your corner and help you. But he was annoying, and everybody just dismissed him, and he went away. But
But maybe
technically,
he
he was AI.
but AI is learning, right? Artificial intelligence, so it's gaining and retaining information and performing better. Was the little Clippy guy AI, or was it just a programmed set of features that it could only do?
Yeah,
Like, say
he wasn't
AI,
learning.
yeah, that's the thing. Like AI to me is something that is gathering information and building upon it and reiterating itself. Yeah, that was Clippy. I remember that guy. Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
or did he already have a set of rules that he could only do that are algorithms and it was limited to those features? Artificial intelligence, and that's why it's scary, is that it can go beyond that.
yeah, true. Is predictive text AI? I don't know. It's reading my thoughts, and it's always a step ahead. And more often than not, I just hit accept because I was probably going to say that anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So that's my thing. I just want clear distinction. Like, are you chasing the new marketing buzzword? Because that's not what you should be doing. You should be truly saying that it is what the name of what it is, because we all are in the tech industry and we see through the lines. So that's it.
Yeah. Who knows? Interesting way to sidebar our original conversation, but that's okay, right?
Yeah. So going back into here, you have the thumbnails, and then you have the ability to create bookmarks from there. Sorry, we always love going down rabbit holes, because I just wanted to know the difference between all of it. So from here now, we have the option to do is create bookmarks, and you can create bookmarks from your page labels, or again, do the same thing, which is page region. Page region would be the same addition to selecting a region of information. And again, to my statements earlier, I could be proved wrong if you tell me how it is in terms of AI and what your contextual understanding of AI is, right?
Right.
Okay, page labels. I'll digress. And now you have your bookmarks. So your bookmarks, and you can create bookmarks automatically, by the way, from your add-in of Review into Revit as well.
Da, 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 da. Yep. So we'll have to dive into that again in a coming episode to go back into more AutoCAD, Revit, Civil 3D, and work on those plugins, and Navisworks. Mm-hmm. I mean, all the plugins.
Well, you did that
for SketchUp too, but
yeah, and you did that with your workflow, because there's no way to print out a 3D corridor unless you export it out to Navisworks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been a hot minute. We should see if there's been any updates, because there has been a new version of Review and a new version of Navisworks since then. Ooh, look at that, Doug. So finally got a drawing package that already had spaces created already. So that's, see, adoption. It's coming
Adoption.
Through.
It's finally being a predominant export solution, which probably saved you so much time, Doug.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially with the work you do. Holy moly.
I think it's just everyone realizing we're one team building a project. Like, if we can better the next team, it makes everyone's life easier, right? Like, all I had to do was export my rooms, which are already generated in Revit as spaces, but then it made everyone else's life easier down the road, right?
Yep. Yeah. And that's where we're seeing a lot of conversations, on the sales side of things is it's, you don't have to convince people to use Review. It's the customers and the subcontractors and the teams that they are working with is just like, hey, this is really easy. You should be using it too. So it becomes like, yeah, we're just going to use that because it's the standard now. So I'm excited to see where it goes, and maybe forms will start to be in your projects that you're working on, spaces, all that stuff, start working together even better than we already are. So,
yep,
good stuff. Covered a lot today. Went through some of those, less technical workflows, but hopefully they weren't too tricky. As always, if there's a question or suggestion, put it in the LinkedIn chat or the Teams chat, and we will see you all next week, February 20th, for something new. The topic
something new
coming to your email, coming to LinkedIn. I don't have it on deck, and we'll figure that out.
And remember, if you have any topics that you want to cover, just email us, Doug. Shoot me an email. We'll then reply back and get you in queue. Thank you all for listening today. Again, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for all of you that tune in, and even on the tube if you're watching this later on.
Yep. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Hey there. Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of the other content on our channel.